everyone, it's Sherry Carroll here with SimonsSaysStamp.com with another December card idea using some of the new Valentine's release die cuts. I'm starting my card off with just a panel of regular Neenah white cardstock, and I also have the Kelly Perky washi tapes, and this comes in two ways. You can either get a pack of 8 or you can purchase them individually. So there's a really nice variety of colors and patterns to choose from. So I'm going to be starting off with like a really bold color. I'll start off with my red, and I'm just going to run this across the bottom, and I'm going to go and just fill up the entire sheet. I'll be placing all of these horizontal across the sheet, and I will alternate colors. So I'll do a light color next to a bold color and then mix in the blues and the greens so that none of the bold colors are really touching each other. One thing to note with these washi tapes is any of the ones that have a white background are really sticky, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of rub off the excess stickiness before I go and put down the next color. So once I have that cleaned off and ready, I'll go ahead and grab my green and pull out a strip and go ahead and put that over top. I am overlapping these very slightly so the patterns sit a little tighter. I've skipped ahead a little bit, and here's the panel that I have already and my big hugs, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the vertical, so my stripes are now going vertically. And I'll go ahead and use a little bit of painter's tape to hold this in place. And since I have this whole sheet of paper, I'm going to go ahead and use my heart in a box die, and I'll go ahead and line this up. By die cutting these together, it saves me a little bit of time when I want to make a secondary card. So I'll make sure that this lines up well with the pattern of the washi tape. I'll tape this down and then run it through my die cut machine. I've also cut out the big hugs from a panel of white cardstock, and this will act as my drop shadow on my card. And I will also be stamping with the new Artful Borders stamp set, and I'm just using the fine stripes with some Sea Glass Simon Says Stamp ink. So I'll go ahead and tap this on a couple times. It's a really new ink pad, so it's nice and juicy. Make sure I get really good coverage. And now I'm going to stamp this vertically onto my little panel here. And I'll just be using the line of my table, and I'll line this up so that it's about even on that left side, just in between the die cut and the edge, and go ahead and press that down, and I have my striped image. I have cut a piece of Sea Glass cardstock. This is the new Simon Says Stamp 100-pound cardstock, and I'm just using some adhesive on the back. I've cut this to 4 inches by 5.5, and it will sit across my card. So when I go to put it on my card, I'll be placing it evenly between the top and the bottom. And this will act as my drop shadow behind my hugs on the white sheet. My white panel is actually 3 3/4 inch by 5.5 inches, so it'll sit with a little bit of a border. So I've cut some hearts out from the new Memory Box Simon Says Stamp exclusive hearts, and these have a nice little fold in the center of the hearts on those 2 bottom ones. So I've cut out 3 little hearts also from the washi tape, and I've bent them up a little bit. And next I'll just be using some glossy accents to secure these to the card. And with a little bit of a fold, I'll just go ahead and add my glossy accents just right to the back of that fold. So just a little line going in the center. And then once I have that, I can go ahead and press this down onto my card. I want to split up the colors, so I'll put my red in the center, and I also have a green heart, and I'll go ahead and again use my glossy accents on the back side. And I'll put this above my red heart, and then I'll continue on and put the blue one just underneath. I have wrapped my panel with some hem teak twine. I really like this twine, and I've tied it in a bow, and here I'm just adding a little bit of glossy accents just behind that knot. And I'll hold this down in the center just for a second, and this is the time that I like to go back and readjust the loops and the strings of my bow before the glossy accents really takes hold. I've added a few, or actually a lot, of foam squares to the back. I've cut some of the pieces up so they fit into the little tiny corners. I've also removed the backing from a couple of the foam squares that sit in the center, and I've grabbed some lint from my pant leg, which makes it not as sticky, and I have a chance to line everything up before it really sticks to that background paper. And once I'm ready, I can remove the rest of the backing of the foam squares. And now I'm ready to add my die cut big hugs, and I've also cut up some foam squares and added them to the back of the letters. I'll remove the backing in a couple of the spots where it might be a little bit harder to get at once it's laying on the card. And these are cut in just really tiny pieces. I'm not going to worry about grabbing lint. Because they're so small, I'll still be able to move them around if I need to. Okay, so now I'm ready to place this on top, and I'll offset this just enough so you can see that sea glass paper underneath. And once I have this placed where I want it, I'll go ahead and press it down, and then I can start peeling up the back of the rest of those foam squares. To finish things off, I've added a few white sequins secured with some glossy accents. And I hope I've given you some inspiration on how to use your dies for Dicember. Thanks for watching.